Hi YouTube, today I wanted to share 5 money saving tips that I use. I use these tips throughout the course of the year and they have become ingrained in who I am. It's basically how I function now, and I no longer even have to think about it. I always stop and think about how I can save money on any item that I am purchasing, and if it even requires me to purchase it. The first tip that I wanted to share was because today is the day before Valentine's Day, and it's the perfect opportunity to put this tip into practice. The first one that I wanted to say is that I always try to buy things when they're being discounted. So, for example, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and the day after, all the candy will be marked down at all the stores. This is a perfect opportunity to score all of that candy at a discounted price. I'm not telling you to go out and hoard and eat a lot of candy, but this is something that you can set aside for future uses. Some of the things that I do with this chocolate are make chocolate chip cookies. I usually end up cutting up the chocolate, so you don't have to get chocolate like M&Ms. You can just get even bars of chocolate, or like the hearts that they're selling. You can take those and you can cut them into pieces and use it to put in cookies. You can also take this chocolate, cut it into chunks, and then use it to make hot chocolate. That's an excellent usage for them. Another way that I use this chocolate is that I love chocolate covered strawberries. So this is the perfect time to score these chocolates. And when strawberries become really cheap, like in the spring around May, this is a great time for you to make chocolate covered strawberries. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and I love setting aside the chocolate for this. Another thing that I really like doing with the chocolate is making s'more. I know this is something that people associate with, campfires and all, but I love making them in the microwave. I love having chocolate that I've stashed from some holiday. I take graham crackers and just put a little piece of chocolate and put the marshmallow on top and stick it in the microwave for probably about 25 seconds. And that's enough time to melt the chocolate and make the marshmallow really soft. And that is like a really quick, easy snack to have, or a dessert. I really consider that a dessert, not really necessarily a snack. So those are some of the ways that I would use the holiday discounted chocolate. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to go out and get some. So I wanted to share this tip first, so that hopefully it's something that you can do on the 15th of February. Another tip that I had is that you should try to do things in the opposite seasons that they're normally done. For example, I have a fireplace and I normally need to have it cleaned periodically. So I never have my fireplace cleaned right before winter. I like to get my fireplace cleaned in the summer when no one is thinking about fireplaces. That's usually when you can get the best discount on getting your fireplace cleaned, because the chimney people are looking for things to do. And that's usually when you can get a discounted rate on getting that cleaned. And in line with that is also getting firewood. I'm always looking for firewood in the summer. Sometimes people have firewood that they're just trying to get rid of. For example, the first time I got my firewood when I moved into this house was just some firewood that the guy who normally sells it had left over, and he said it's been sitting around for a few months and he just wanted to clear it out and I guess make space for what he's going to be cutting up for next year. So he sold it to me at a pretty good price. So basically, it's a broader concept, is to think about things when no one else is doing them. So like I said in the example at the fireplace, no one's thinking of their chimneys in June or July. And that's usually when I'm reaching out to the chimney people and asking, how much will they charge for a chimney inspection, for chimney cleaning, all of those kinds of services. So I try to think about, because I feel like I get the better rate. So obviously when the demand is the highest for something is usually when the prices are the highest also. So I try to do things out of season. My next tip is for something that will be useful this summer for people that are planning a vacation. I feel like people usually plan a vacation and then go around, they say, I'm going to go to Florida. And then they go and try to find cheap tickets to Florida or hotels or whatever that they need for their vacation. I try to do things a little backwards. I actually start searching for the tickets without even having a destination in mind. So I will usually search out major cities. I'll say, okay, I've never been to a lot of these states, so let's for example, Texas, and I'll look up the major cities in Texas and I'll start trying different dates. I'll try different cities. I usually pick the bigger cities because that's usually where you can get the better rate. One year I actually took my family to California, but we flew into Las Vegas, and the rate was cheaper to fly into Las Vegas there was 4 of us, and we ended up getting tickets for around $300 for 4 people round trip to Las Vegas. We had no interest in visiting Las Vegas, though we did take the opportunity to do that. We really were interested in going to California, and that was just a cheaper place to go. So we ended up going into Las Vegas and driving into California. But my point is that you shouldn't plan a city and say, oh, I'm going to go to California this year, or I'm going to go to Florida. Actually start searching out different places and say, well, I wonder what a ticket to California would cost, and I wonder what a ticket to Washington, D.C. would cost. And then start looking up those cities, flights to those cities, different dates. I have heard from a lot of people that Thursday tends to be the cheaper day to fly. I don't know if that's a fact, but I have heard that it's the best day to look for cheaper fares. There are a lot of websites out there. There's one called Skyscanner that I've used in the past, and usually you can put in a range of dates, and it'll tell you when the ticket is the cheapest, so that you can plan your vacation that way. But I guess the point of this tip is that you need to work backwards. First, figure out where the cheapest fare is, and you pick from the cities that you want to visit or the states that you want to visit. And for our example, we've visited Florida, we've visited Texas, we've gone to Salt Lake City, where from there we drove to the Grand Canyon. So we've used that as a way. You don't necessarily have to stay in the state that you're flying into. If it's close to another place that you want to visit, then rent a car and then drive there. But my point is basically to work backwards. Figure out where the cheap rate is, the cheap fares are, and then figure out what you can do on vacation in those areas. My next tip is more of a food money saving tip, and that is to buy a whole chicken. I feel like in general in this country we tend to buy parts. We'll buy chicken drumsticks or chicken breast, which seems to be the most popular, type of meat. But we need to be able to we need to consider the benefits of buying a whole chicken. There are a lot of parts that you don't get, like the backbone. The backbone is a great piece to get for making chicken stock. So you're basically, even a lot of times you will buy a chicken from the grocery store, they're not going to give you the backbone. They'll give you the legs, the thighs, the breast, all of that stuff, but they're not giving you the giblets, they're not giving you the backbone. All of those things can be used for different purposes and can still be cooked. And if you're really watching where your dollars go, then I would suggest that the best way of saving money on buying meat, especially a chicken, is to buy the entire chicken and then cut it up yourself. There's tons of videos out there that explain how to cut it, and it's really not that complicated, and it's very easy to do. I think we've just gotten away from a lot of these things that our parents, our grandparents used to do to save money. My last tip is to buy used whenever possible. I feel like this is even more easier these days because of Facebook Marketplace. You can find so many things online. You don't even have to search very hard. I always look in Facebook Marketplace. There are things that I won't buy from Facebook Marketplace just because of a personal preference, but the bulk of things I will buy. And it's amazing how many things you can buy on Facebook Marketplace that are completely new, like in the box, or that somebody bought and never used. I really do feel like part of that is because people are buying these pallets from Amazon and other companies, and then they're selling these items themselves. I'm not sure there's other ways people are getting these items, but definitely this is a way to save money and to find it on Facebook Marketplace. So I definitely look on there before I purchase anything anywhere else. There's clothes online that you can get, the tags on them still. If you're not into buying used things, you can still use this as a source to buy completely new things. But definitely you need to consider this option because it is definitely going to save you money. I hope you enjoyed these money saving tips. These are definitely things that I put into practice in my own life and have been doing for quite a while to save money and to make my budget stretch further. If you liked my video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will be putting out more videos with more money saving tips. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.